Okay, listen. Okay, how can such a tiny woman drive a big truck? Japan's labor shortage forces it to rethink gender stereotypes. When My You Wannabe tells people what she does for a living, most struggle to hide the surprise, and not just because of her diminutive stature. As a truck driver with 23 years behind the wheel, she's one of a small but growing number of women coming to the rescue of an industry that's the beating heart of Japan's economy. I can see they're thinking, how can such a tiny woman drive a big truck? Wannabe, who is 152 centimeters, 5 feet tall, told the Observer as she prepared for the busy run up to the end of the year. But I've always loved cars, so it felt natural to want to be a truck driver. When she started driving her first vehicle, a small truck, one that B was a rarity. I found it strange, as all my colleagues were men, she said, joking at the time the stereotype about women being poor at reading maps really did apply to her. Deciphering routes in the days before TomTom and Google Maps was not the only aspect of the job with which she struggled. Expressway truck stops did not have women's toilets, and heavy vehicle cabins appeared to have been designed solely with hulking male drivers in mind. It wasn't the sort of environment where women could work comfortably, said Watabe, a representative director of Hartful, the first among Japan's 62,000 trucking firms to employ only female drivers, who still make up just 3% of the industry's workforce. But more than 2 decades after she started, Japan's 300 billion yen freight and logistics sectors is looking for women to address what industry insiders believe could be catastrophic changes to labor regulations. In an attempt to make trucking, with its punishingly long hours and low pay, more attractive, the Japanese government will cap drivers' out overtime at 960 hours a year, or 80 hours a month from April. The end of unlimited overtime, though, could have disastrous consequences that Japan's media has dubbed the 2024 problem. Transport companies warned that it would spark an exodus from an occupation in which most drivers depend on prodigious amounts of overtime to make ends meet. On average, they earn 4.46 mil yen a year, about 10% about below the average of all industries, despite working 20% more hours. The sector was struggling to meet demand fueled by Japan's e-commerce boom and enthusiasm for construction and building public works. The reduction in overtime will leave as much as a third of cargo undelivered by the end of the decade due to a critical shortage of drivers, the Norma Research Institute said in a recent estimate. The number of drivers, many of whom are nearing retirement age, would fall by 35% compared with 2015, it added. The government believes that could result in 10 trillion hit to the world's third largest economy, where almost 90% of freight is transported by road. The anticipated slump in the number of truck drivers, with consequences for every corner of the economy, not least for farms and fisheries, whose clients expect the freshest produce. Factories, hospitals, and convenience stores could be affected. In the first 2 decades that Wannabe, 43, has been driving trucks around her companies based in Fuji Prefecture, a large rural region on the Japan's sea coast, toilet facilities have improved, while improved seat design and steering technology have made her job much easier. Now it's far more normal to see women drivers, and male drivers are getting used to it. With more women driving large trucks, companies are starting to customize their vehicles to better accommodate them, including fitting cabins with curtains to give their occupants more privacy during rest breaks. To avoid going under, truck companies will have to harness women's potential to make a point of reaching out to them instead of just saying what they want to hire more drivers in general, Wannabe said. A lot of companies who rely on the logistics sector are complacent about the difficulties coming their way. Some of them don't even know that what the 2024 problem is. She now drives a heavy dump truck full of asphalt, sand, or earth to construction sites and works about 30 hours of overtime a week, meaning their extra hours have fallen dramatically from April. My husband and I can make changes to cope with that. But I think a lot of drivers would just quit, she said, but she has no intention of joining them. The women I work with help each other out with healthcare and taking time off, the sort of things that men sometimes struggle to understand. And if you like driving as much as I do, being behind the wheel of a big truck is a real thrill. You're out and about all the time. Driving gives you a sense of freedom. Okay, good. Now,